In 2005, I completed my last ever music lesson. As part of my high school curriculum, I spent 4 years learning exactly 3 songs. The first was Wild Thing by the Trogs, which I sloppily executed on a bass guitar. The second was Linkin Park's In the End on a cheap electric school keyboard. And finally, a half-time, half-accurate opening riff of Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. I walked away from music theory without a look behind me. I let what knowledge I had accumulated rot in that stuffy, underfunded second-floor music studio. And since then, I've never really understood the book learning behind music. I can't read sheet notation. I don't understand timbre. 4/3 timing is a mystery to me. But there's this one song that every time I hear it, it absolutely wrecks me. 4 minutes and 33 seconds is a composition from 1952 by John Cage. The performance you're watching is of William Marks, and it's exceptional. In all 3 movements, his piano is silent. There are no notes, no keys. But there is intentionality. The audience attends to it as they would any other performance. At the end, they will all applaud. Without the notes, the sounds, the resonance, to me at least, this still feels like music. In early 2018, P.H. Lee and Caitlin Bell released The Tragedy of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo, a role-playing game for no players. On a distant planet, a society has developed. They have technology, culture, art. They are, by any measure, an intelligent society, one with whom we've had no contact. And as the game is played, the history of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo develops. Playing Golf Juliet 237 Bravo is a lot like 433, in that pieces are assembled as would any other game. Rules are printed, pencils are sharpened, dice are distributed around a table. And then we all leave the room. We close the door, and play begins. And in there, in that room, behind that closed door, the history of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo develops. Inside that room, around that absent table, Golf Juliet 237 Bravo flourishes. Or maybe it succumbs to war. Or maybe something else happens. The point is that we don't know outside the room, because what's happening on that alien planet is so different to us as to be utterly incomprehensible. When we do open the door, we are human travelers, arrived on Golf Juliet 237 Bravo to bring only their destruction. The game text says we do not play out the catastrophe. All we know is that life is extinguished. Golf Juliet 237 Bravo is now a cold dead rock. The tragedy of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo exists with the same intentional absence as 433. It exists to subvert our expectations, to have our knowledge, our desires, our culture saying one thing, and the text say another. I think they also target the same thing inside me. They also show us a part of ourselves that we don't often get to see. Though 433 contains no notes, the human ambience of a live performance does. Coughing, shuffling, sounds of discomfort, curious whispers, or just the collective inhales and exhales of a crowd. These sounds that are always present in these amphitheatres but are so often drowned out and ignored. 433 brings that human element into sharp relief. The deafening sounds of shared existence in a room designed to amplify every sound. And so Golf Juliet 237 Bravo does the same. In the RPG hobby, where we have 30 plus years of theory built around reinforcing choices and empowering players and taking action, this game asks us to do nothing. With dice, so often used to give players authority, in this game they're sequestered behind a door and our ability to influence the fiction with it. Instead, we are left with things that we so often drown out in our games, like absent curiosity, a mumbled conversation, an idle, inconsequential wandering, or perhaps just a feeling of powerlessness. It is, much like 433, about taking notice of your own existence. It's about feeling those uncomfortable feelings that come with something being wrong, and maybe that something is you. The first time I watched 433, I cried. And the second time, and And to be honest, like a lot of times that I watch 433, I cry because it is to me in the nature of the piece to consider myself. To watch a performer act with such intentionality, to assault us with such absence so immediately, and to, over the course of 5 minutes, offer no relief. When I listen to 433, I feel uncomfortable. I feel anxious. I feel irritable, and I feel distracted and concerned and just wrong. I feel like I don't get it. I feel like this isn't working for me like it's working for anyone else. And then I hear someone cough. I hear someone move who can't get comfortable in their seat. Or in this one performance, I hear a baby crying and I realize that I'm not alone. I know that these feelings of inadequacy and absence, this feeling that I'm doing something wrong, these anxieties that seep into every edge of my days sometimes, are not mine alone. I share them with so many people in that crowd. And when I play Golf Juliet 237 Bravo, I feel curiosity. I feel a desire to ruin another culture, just to know. I feel a lust for exploration. I feel wonder. I feel jealousy. And with all that guilt pressing upon me, I look to my friends and I look to the game text and I see that it's okay. Golf Juliet 237 Bravo ends when someone opens the door. And that's how I know it's okay. The text explicitly provides for one decision in play. You can ignore the game, or you can ruin it. The decision to justify our curiosity enough that we violate the isolation of and doom an alien civilization is an inevitable part of this experience. This game is, after all, the tragedy. And this is where I think Lee and Bell hide the lie of their game. They call it a game for no players, and I can't agree with that. In the same way I don't agree that no one's really playing in 433. Opening the door is a play decision that we make, and so the door will eventually be opened. Because doors are meant to be opened. Because we as humans have never looked at an unexplored land and not thought, what if? To wildly misquote JFK, we choose to destroy Golf Juliet 237 Bravo not because it is easy, but because it is fundamentally who we are. One of the things that happened to me after falling in love with 4 minutes and 33 seconds is that I started to notice silence out in my life. And in the same way, I think the tragedy of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo is a game I am constantly playing. My mother plays this game when someone says, "Oh, don't worry about it," and all she can do is worry about it. My 3-year-old niece plays this game when something goes bump in the night and she comes out to explore in her Paw Patrol pajamas. I think we as people play it when we send rovers to Mars or man to the moon or satellites just out there in the hope that we're going to discover something. I play it when you tell me that you've had a terrible day and I ask you if you want to talk about it. We are creatures of curiosity. Reckless, destructive, dangerous curiosity, but beautiful curiosity. In the same way that by playing no notes in 433, John Cage asks us to listen, by telling us we are not playing, Lee and Bell invite us to play. In closing a door, they offer us a chance to open it. Not everyone experiences 433 the same way I do. A part of silence is that it gives you time to find your own truth within it. Maybe my experience with this music is as starkly alien to you as the people of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo are to me. Both 4 minutes and 33 seconds and the tragedy of Golf Juliet 237 Bravo offer us no closure as participants. Neither has an epilogue. Neither has a snippy, well-considered resolution. Neither solve any problems. They offer us only time to consider what has been said, space to experience our own discomfort, and a noisy silence on which to reflect on ourselves.